Hi everybody, Paul here from Hill Country Rings, and today got a little bit of a challenge. We're going to make a pair of rings out of matched pieces of Lebanon cedar. So let's go in the shop. So what we have is a size 7 in stainless steel, and it's a 6mm band, and a size 10 in tungsten, and that's a 8mm band. And we have a piece of the Lebanon cedar, and it's been cut, and you can see how the streak of the hardwood and the sapwood is pretty much the same. Well, that was cut. This is pretty much from the same piece, and just cut it, stabilized. And now what we'll do is when we do these rings, they'll have the same sort of coloring and the same, pretty much the same just pattern on the ring. So let's go ahead and we're going to take these guys, going to put them on the lathe, level them off, bore them out, and then we'll mount the ring cores to the wood. I measured the outside of the size 10 ring. It's right at 23mm, just a little bit over. So I'm going to go ahead and bore this guy out with a 23mm Forstner bit. This size 7 ring, it came out to about 20.33mm. So I got a 20mm bit chucked up to do the boring, and I think we might have to do a little bit of sanding once I bore this out, but we'll see. Yeah, we're going to do just a tiny bit of sanding, but I'll use my precision sanding instrument, otherwise known as a piece of sandpaper wrapped around a carpenter's pencil. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we're going to clean both of these up with denatured alcohol. I'm going to clean up the wood first so it has a chance to dry back out. And we clean out Cleaning these rings is real important, and it's really important to get the grease off of the wood. And if you notice, what I do is I clean it with denatured alcohol, and then I clean the actual ring itself. And all these ring cores look clean when they're machined. They use oil, cutting oil, and just got to make sure to get all that off before we try to stick it with the two-part epoxy. And I always use the two-part epoxy because it's stronger, and it just does have a little bit of give and flexibility, which so it doesn't come apart. So it takes a little more time, and but I really think it makes a better ring. You see, I got the ring pushing it in really nice and tight, and then I make sure to cover any holes or any gaps with the two-part epoxy. And I always use a separate run of epoxy for each ring. I don't make one big run of epoxy and then try to do two rings with it. So if you're wondering, yes, I do each ring separately and make sure to mix the epoxies for that ring separately. All right, now we just let these guys cure overnight, and then we'll get to cutting them out, sanding, put them on the lathe, finishing them, the whole bit. So we'll do that later. It's another day, and both of these, the epoxy is cured really good. We're going to go ahead and cut these closer to the ring core so we don't have that much wood to work with, and then we're going to sand down
the sides level, then put them on the lathe and turn them to size, and then sand them, finish them, all the rest of the stuff. So let's go ahead and first thing to do is cut them out on the bandsaw. Now to take a little more off, I'm going to go ahead and do a little sanding here on the belt sander, just to get them more closer to a round. Now the part of the video everyone loves, hand sanding. And hopefully shouldn't take too long, because these are fairly soft wood, but we'll start out with these 80 grit and sand close, and then we'll go to the 220. Alright, got both these guys sanded good. Gonna clean them up a little bit, and then we'll put them on the lathe and cut them down, and then sand them to shape. Then we'll put the finish on them, go through the sanding pads, and then we'll buff them on the buffing wheel.
right, here's that pair of Lebanon cedar rings, all finished and sanded and polished and buffed up. Came out really pretty. So ready to go out to the customers. If you would like a ring made from Lebanon cedar, Bethlehem olive wood, the deck of a battleship, M1 Garand wood, I'm doing some from Major League Baseball bats, even from the seats of Lambeau Field, or from I'm actually getting some Battleship Texas wood in today. They're going to be stabilizing that. So I do a lot of custom wood work, a lot of custom rings, and love to work with my customers to find out what they really want, what they'd be happy with. And I'd love to make a ring for you. Check out hillcountryrings.com. Thanks, everybody.